Hey everyone, it is Jay Soloff from Investors Alley, and this is our options trade of the week. So I am at marketchameleon.com, scrolling through their unusual option volume page, and we can see that, as always, there's been quite a bit of action, even though the market today was actually quite slow. There were still some pretty big option trades, so sometimes it's even more interesting to see what the big option trades are when the market is pretty much in a non-eventful state. So I like to scroll by volume and see what some of the bigger ones were in terms of action. You can see Walt Disney, which had really good earnings, a lot of bullish action there. Also some good news from Qualcomm. That's what's going on there. But maybe let's look at something that doesn't have earnings, or it's not earnings related, and we can look at XLP, which is the sector, the consumer staples sector, which had actually quite a bit of bearish action. So we click on that, and then maybe we'll look at it didn't move that much. So this is another thing. There wasn't a lot of movement, but there's a big trade. So we can look, and you can see here there's a couple really big trades. This one is an out of the money put. So if we look at that, let's see if we can get a closer look at what happened. Over 14,000 puts traded for 26 cents. So that is above the ask. So almost certainly someone purchased this. Now it may have been versus something else, but let's just analyze this trade on its own. Since it's not listed as a spread, just listed as an out of the money, we'll just analyze this as if it's on its own. 366,000 in premium was spent. That's the max loss on something like this, but really this is pretty much either a pure downward bet or a hedge if we analyze it on its own as just an out of the money put. It expires November 29th at the end of this month. You can see it's the 59.5 strike, and the stock was around 60, 67 at the time. So it's about $1, a dollar from this price. You start to make money if it goes down to below about 59.25. This could be a hedge against a long position, or it could just be an outright bearish bet on this trade. So or on this sector. So what is this sector? Well, we can go to this ETF info. Let's just take a look at what some of the holdings are in consumer staples, and there you can see this is the stuff that really should do well regardless of the economy, right? This is like this. These are the consumer staples, the things that people need really, and they're going to spend money on regardless of how the economy is doing. So Procter and Gamble, Coke, Pepsi, Walmart, Costco. I mean, these are basic goods, and it's the sort of thing that should hold ground pretty well if there's a recession. So betting against this could be a sign that maybe traders are now thinking that we're going to avoid any sort of serious recession, or that the Fed will engineer a soft landing, or whatever it might be. This very well could just be a bet that that consumer staples don't need to be they're more of a defensive sector, and maybe people are gonna rotate out of them because they're not really worried about the downside anymore. So just an interesting trade here. Again, it could be part of a bigger sort of trade, but just analyzing that OTM put part, and there was some other big put trades going on. So again, this is the sort of thing that could be a bet on some sector rotation, or sort of an anti-recession sort of bet. So just an interesting, just another interesting trade. Conversely, someone could be getting long. Maybe they do expect a recession, and then that's a cheap hedge against a, maybe they expect some negative economic news later this month. They think people are going to load into this, so they're buying the stock, and then just in case, they're hedging cheaply with those 59.5s, which only cost 26 cents. So depending on how you look at it, again, it's sort of thing when you're only spending 26 cents on a trade. Could be a cheap hedge, could be a cheap speculative play, but easy enough to do in your own account if that's the sort of thing you're interested in. And if you want to learn more about these types of strategies, you can check out the Option Trading Mastery, which I offer, the 11 video course that I offer. There's a link to it on this page. And that's all I have for you this week.